Okay, so thank you, Mustafa. Thank you for joining us today, and thank you for taking out the time to do this interview with me. So,
Thank you so much for having me.
yeah, no problem at all. Could you please briefly introduce yourself to the audience?
So my name is Mustafa Gandhi, and I own Oxygen Media Group, and I'm a student. I'm studying here in NYC, and that's about it.
Oh, great. So you're studying at NYC too? I didn't know that.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I came here back in 2018,
Mm-hmm.
so this is my third year. Yeah, fourth year.
Great. What are you studying at NYC?
So I actually came here to study architecture. So it's a funny story.
Okay.
Um, I came here to, learn about architecture and be an architect, but turns out it didn't work out. I wasn't very interested in it.
Okay.
So I ended up, I flunked out. And I ended up doing business because the thing is, the school that I went to after architecture, I took an accounting class there. I started off there as a physics major because I thought that would be interesting. But I took an accounting class there, and that kind of, hit me. And I was like, you know what, I want to do business. I don't want to do anything else.
That's interesting. So that was the reason that you entered into the business world, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Wow, that's nice.
That
When
kind of, I think that's basically how I chose entrepreneurship too, right? Like,
mhm.
that was, yeah,
Yeah,
that was one of the questions, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay,
Don't
okay,
worry, we'll get to that one also.
okay, sure.
Yeah. So, like, when did you start Oxygen Media Group?
So the story behind Oxygen Media Group was actually very like simple. I started it back in May 2020, and I got the idea to start it when I was ordering pizza on Uber Eats. So there's this store in my neighborhood that's called like there's this just local pizza store. They didn't have any online presence. They didn't have a Google or like anything. They were basically invisible to the digital world. And I was wondering, like, is this even a real store? While ordering on Uber Eats, like, is this something made up? So I ordered. Turns out the pizza is great. It was cheap. It was great. So I wanted to go there physically because like I was like, where is this place? They have great pizza, but why aren't they on the map? And that's how I started Oxygen Media Group. I was like, let me help you out. Let me get you online. There were so many stores in the pandemic that weren't being able to get business because they weren't on Google Maps. So that was the idea behind Oxygen.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, during this pandemic, most of the businesses need to be online, right? Otherwise, they're
Yeah,
gonna just end up doing any bad sales. So that's
yeah.
great. Like a pizza,
Yeah, I
pizza forced
mean,
you to start
I
your
guess,
very own
yeah, the
company.
pizza thing turned out to be into a website,
Uh-huh.
company. Who knows?
Okay. So I guess that was your motivation behind starting that, as combined with the subject that you took during your college.
Yeah, so the subject was accounting, right? So people would think that, why would someone like accounting? It's like all about numbers and stuff. But when you do learn accounting, it turns out there are so many things about life that you learn, how to manage your time, how to manage resources. And it's a very interesting subject how everything balances out at the end. It's a math, but it's all based on this one equation where assets are equal to liabilities and stuff. So I don't want to get into that part, but it's very interesting.
Mm, yeah, yeah, definitely. And how long is your degree at NYC? Is it going to end this year or
I
next year?
got I got 2 more years. So I just started my third year. So
Okay.
I'm at Baruch right now. I study finance there, and hopefully it will end soon. I'm trying to take as many credits as I can, finish as soon as possible, so I can focus on growing my business.
Okay. And are you able to balance out your work as well as your studies, or is something lagging behind?
Um, so I do have a timetable for it. I have a strategy how I manage my time. I tend to delegate stuff rather than going and doing it myself. I use like delegation as a way to manage my time, and I think that has worked out for now. I have tried a lot of different strategies, but at the end of the day, if you want to be bigger than what you are, then you have to start letting go of certain processes.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, being the CEO of a company, you are not going to end up doing all of the work yourself. That's true. So
Yeah.
that's interesting. Okay. And so, apart from NYC and apart from Oxygen Media Group, could you tell us a little bit more about your background?
So I'm actually from India. I came here to do architecture, like I said,
Yeah.
and my background has actually been all over the place. So I have been into DJing, making music. I have tried my hands on in everything and anything that I can, and I hope to continue to do that. And that's like I do have a background in tech actually. Like there was this one time when I was in high school that I came to Canada, for robotics, and so I do have some background in tech. And uh, so yeah, I guess that's what I've been doing all my life. Trying out different things that interest me, and somehow it manages to work.
Okay. Interesting. So, DJ and then tech and then architecture. But your company is purely focused on tech, right?
So we are actually a solutions provider. We provide solution as a service. Now it could be tech, but it could also be something related to marketing or business, or it could be anything. But most of the times we try to focus only on how tech can be a solution for the business. And one thing that we're trying to do different is, rather than providing them solutions that exist in the market and making business processes around tech, we want to do it the other way around. We want to make tech that allow your business to work the way you want it to. An example of that is Slack. Even though my team would be using Microsoft Office, there are so many companies that would use Gmail and Slack, which is unnecessary because they can use Hangouts and do the communication through Hangouts, and they wouldn't require Slack that way. And there are all these things that it all comes down to information. So it's about educating people on how to use tech properly, and sometimes customizing it.
Yeah, definitely. That's very true. And so you mentioned that you entered this entrepreneur life because of taking an accounting course and then like stumbling upon a shop which was not doing their business online. Um,
Yes.
Apart from those two reasons, was there any other factor forcing you to enter the entrepreneurship life before moving to New York? Did you ever think that you would be owning your own company and doing your own startup, etc.?
I think that was like inevitable. Even though when I was an architect, I was trying to become an architect. I wanted to do something on my own, make my own building rather than go work at a firm. So that entrepreneur thing had always been there in my mind. Um, there, like all my ideas are something about taking ownership. So I think I have always chosen that entrepreneur life before, even before this whole pizza thing ever happened. It's just about finding the right opportunity. So it comes down to that.
Okay. Well, I'm very glad that you were able to finally realize this dream of owning your own company. And I wish you all the success for 2020. And so, since you've already started and entered into this entrepreneur life, what do you think is the basic skill set required to start a business for a person?
Okay, so I think that's the thing about being an entrepreneur. You don't really need any skills to start a business, and that's where most people like fall back. They think that there are so many risks that I have to take, and what if I don't know what I'm doing? But that's the point about business, that there is no set formula to success, and it's all about trying different things and learning from your mistakes. So you don't really need like to be skillful at everything you do, unless it comes down to like unless you're trying to do something specific, such as make a construction company. Then I guess you need to know the know-hows in that case. But what I mean by not knowing any skills is mean like there's no business skill that you actually need to know to start a business. um, as far as like technical knowledge goes, that's obvious that if you're trying to start a software company, you need to know how to code to start that. um, so I don't think people should do a business degree. I'm a business student, so coming from that, it sounds hypocritical. But truth is, yeah, I think you should just focus on what you like to do, and just think about how you would do it differently. That's just I think that is a skill itself.
Okay. And so, like, I agree with you. There isn't, one particular skill required to start a business. But I think, like, on a more basic level, I think
Yeah,
communication with people, social skills, those are required at some level, right? Because like whatever business you will be doing, end up doing, you will have to interact with a few people. You will have to, shake a few hands, or I mean,
right.
not shake a few hands during the pandemic, but definitely like interact with people, communicate, and all of those skills. What do you any comments about that? Do you think?
I think I would disagree on the social skills part because hello.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, sorry. So I would actually disagree on the social skills part because I'm really bad at social skills. I'm bad at communicating with people. I'm very upfront. I just say what I think is right, and sometimes I'm wrong, and that's when I accept things. But when you are in a service business, that's not a really great skill to have. So um, so I don't think social skills would be the right choice to start with, but I think what you need to understand is just being open to different possibilities, where that by itself is a skill, because once you keep an open mind when running a business, what happens is you start picking up things that you thought you wouldn't need, and you start picking up things that you would have never seen coming, such as the social skill. Like you said, I never thought I would need those social skills running a website company, because I thought, hey, I'm working remote. You just gotta tell me what you want, and I'll make it. I won't have to interact so much with you. Uh, but turns out you do need a lot of service and social skills, and how to deal with employees. No one can actually learn those things unless they do it. So if you're starting a business, I don't think any skills are required. But once you run a business, that is when you start developing skills.
Yeah. Very well said. That's true. Like while starting, I don't think I agree with you. People don't require the skill set, but in the long run, definitely they need to develop certain skill set. Okay, so you started your company in 2020 during the pandemic.
Right.
How difficult was it to do that?
Um, so I started. So like I said, I started with the pizza guy. So he was technically my first customer. So it wasn't really hard. In fact, it was actually very easy because there were so many people who were going out of business, and I was like, great, this is great because now I can help them out, and I can start my business because they're going out of business. And don't get me wrong, I don't mean it in a very negative way, but I think economic crisis such as this, because I study finance, I've done some research on this, and I've realized that economic crisis always brings opportunity. And what I mean by that is there are so many people who bet on predictability in the economy, and when something like this happens, such as the pandemic, they go out of business. They always go out of business, such as the housing crisis, or this crisis, or any market crash that you take from the past. And that is when new people can actually bring in new processes, new ideas, and take the economy forward in a way that they couldn't. Like the, let's say General Motors, when they go out of business, there's Elon Musk who goes in and brings in, electric cars. So that's I think a cycle that people have to, like, understand. And whether it is a pandemic or whether it is not a pandemic, I think there's always going to be difficulties. It's upon you how you tackle them or use them as an opportunity.
Definitely, definitely. I think you need to keep evolving in order to adapt to different types of situations and environments. I mean,
Yeah,
different hurdles will definitely keep coming your way, but you need to be, keep changing and then keep developing to tackle all of those. Yeah, I agree
exactly.
with you on that one. So, yeah, I mean, how smooth was it to start this business? Like, were there any failures? Did you encounter only success? How was it for you?
Um, Hello.
Yeah, you're audible.
Okay, no, it's just the volume became up. Okay, so the process wasn't smooth. Um, I wasn't really like, even though I study business, there were so many things that I realized that I don't know about starting a business, and especially like legalities of it. Um, so to figure that out was a challenge. Learning how and what not, maybe licenses, taxes, all of those things. But once you are past that, I think once you can look past all of that, the first hurdle that's going to be for everyone. I don't think there is anything special that would be like, a challenge for anyone else. Like it's the same thing for whether you're selling candies in a store. Like you need customers, you need good service, and you need to be consistent. So those were the three things that I had to learn how to focus on. How to put my energy into those three things.
Yeah, definitely. And so, were there any issues or any hurdles in your way while doing all of this?
I think the biggest hurdle was being an international student here in the US. So there are certain restrictions that I have to work with and under, like um, that is like getting my work permit. All of those things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Correct, correct, correct. That's good. And so, yeah, right. So, like, apart from managing this company and studying at NYC, what else do you do when you're not working?
Um, so I like to play chess. There's this website called chess.com. I play a lot of chess there. It's like my outlet for like doing all, like trying all these different ideas I have. So like I love to play chess. And apart from that, I just like to do everything and anything that everyone else does. Just like listening to music and watching movies, spending time with my friends, all of those things. It's just normal stuff.
Do you also DJ in your part time sometimes?
I used to, not anymore. It used to be fun to make music, but not anymore. I don't have time for that.
Is it due to the pandemic or some other reason?
No, I just think that making the music, it requires a lot of creative energy, and right now I just don't have that much creative energy in terms of like making music. Maybe hopefully someday I can take it up again.
Hmm. Okay, great. So, could you share like an important life lesson that you learned while moving through different phases of your life?
Okay, so here's the thing: the biggest life lesson to ever learn is that the biggest life lesson is yet to come. Okay, that's the one thing that I've learned. When I came to architecture, flunking out of that school was a big. I thought that was the biggest life lesson I will learn. Then I went on to DJing, and then I failed at that. So that was the biggest life lesson that I thought. Okay, now I think I'll learn my biggest life lesson. So on and so forth. Every step of the way in life, you will learn a new lesson, and you will feel like that is the biggest lesson. But the lesson is that there is always a bigger thing coming ahead. So you just
Okay,
have to be prepared for it.
that is very true. That is very true. Just when you think that you've struck a hurdle and then you've learned something from life. Like life throws you at you another hurdle and then you learn from that something else. Right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
that's very true. Okay, and what keeps you moving forward in life?
So this might sound very philosophical, but the thing is, I am a philosophical person. I like to think about the whys and what's in life, and that's actually what keeps me moving forward, like my purpose in life. And I've always wondered as a child, like, why am I here? Like, why am I on this world? And eventually I came to the conclusion that, look, there's actually no right answer to why you are here, but the answer to that is, what are you going to do now that you're here? Like, what is it that you want to do? So I ask myself that question, and I just keep on going. I constantly ask that, okay, what am I going to do today? And that's what I do, whatever that answer is.
Okay. Yeah, definitely. That's like a very, very philosophical answer, but
Yeah.
it's a good answer. I'll take that one. And so, what's your favorite book and why?
So this is I read this book when I was in 10th grade. It's called The Importance of Being Earnest.
Okay.
I like that book because it's funny. That's pretty much it.
Okay. Any lessons in that book, or is it just like a very? Is it fictional or is it?
I think everyone will learn a different lesson by reading that book. So I won't tell what I learned from it, but I'll just say the importance of being earnest is. I think the title says a lot. The
Okay.
importance of being earnest.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
That's true. Okay, I'll check it out someday whenever I have time.
yeah.
And okay, so what's your pledge for 2021?
Let me see. I think I wrote that down. That one was the one that I had to think about a lot because
Okay.
I hadn't thought about what my goal was for 2021 until you asked me that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so I think I want to make more mistakes. I want to fail at different things again.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't mean, that my goal is to fail, but my goal is to make mistakes and learn, and being okay with it. That is actually my goal. That if I make mistakes, I want to be okay with it. And that's the only thing that I want to have for 2021, so that hopefully I'm not afraid to, try different things out.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, failing is not important, but failing and then getting back up and learning from it,
Yeah.
that's what counts. Right? Yeah, that's good. Okay, great pledge for 2021. I hope you learn a lot of things, but I don't say that you fail at a lot of stuff. I mean,
Thank
I
you
hope
so
you
much.
don't go into any loss or something.
So last question. I think that's the nomination thing, right? Like you.
No, so I have some rapid fire questions for
Oh,
you.
right, right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. This is going to be fun.
Yeah. So tell us three things that no one knows about you.
Okay. No one knows about me. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Ah, that's a hard one.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, um, Actually, I eat a lot of pizza.
Okay.
I love Snickers. It's all about food actually, and I can cook. Yeah. I don't think a lot of people know that I can cook well.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So one is gonna be pizza, and the other one is that you're good at cooking. What's the third
Yeah.
one?
Third one. I actually don't know.
Okay.
I actually don't know. Yeah. I think I don't have I have a very close group of friends, so there's not much information that we don't share. It's actually whatever we are very open about it. So I'm a very open person. So I think everyone knows everything about me. It's pretty straightforward. Yeah.
Okay. Not so complicated. That's also nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
And what's the craziest thing someone has done for you?
Sorry.
What's the craziest thing someone has done for you?
Craziest thing.
Yeah.
Okay. And how do you define crazy?
Crazy could be anything, I mean, spending like a lot of money on a trip with you, or I mean, you can define crazy at your own terms, right? And by the way, we just lost video. I don't know what happened.
I think my phone just died. Yeah,
Oh,
my phone
okay.
died. Sorry about that. And can we continue with just audio on it?
Yeah. Let's continue like this. Not a problem.
Okay, great.
Mhm.
So the craziest thing I would be, I so my friends and I. So when I was in a different school, we had this structure there. That was like a lighthouse, and we snuck on top of that.
Okay.
That I think was one of the craziest things that I could remember that
Uh-huh.
we have done as together as friends.
Was it dangerous to get onto that
So
structure?
it's not actually dangerous because the structure was pretty solid.
Yeah.
However, it was risky because there must have been consequences to it.
Yeah.
But the view was worth it. That's I think a life lesson learned there that you have to evaluate your risk versus the reward and make decisions that way.
Yeah, definitely. And what's the one thing that you would like to change about yourself?
Um, I think I want to be more disciplined in what I do,
Mhm.
and that's one thing.
Okay. What's your spirit animal?
I would say tiger.
Okay. And why?
Um, I guess I guess cats are really nice. As an animal, I do like all animals, but I just think that cat as an animal and especially a tiger are like really smart. I just think that tigers are so smart and they're very calculative. I find a lot of similarities in me and a tiger.
So you're a predator, like a tiger.
You could say that.
Okay, interesting. And what's a rumor about you that you wish were true?
Oh, people think I'm a genius, but I'm not that smart.
Okay.
I think there are a lot of smart people out there, and I'm just, I guess, I get lucky sometimes. I feel like I get lucky.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what's the easiest way to piss you off?
Oh, defeat me in chess. If I lose in chess, I'll be very mad at you.
Okay. Okay. So, so rate yourself from 1 to 10, and 1 being the lowest. Quick learner.
Okay, but is it based on certain things? Is there
Yeah,
a
I'm
criteria?
saying that. So the first
Okay.
one is going to be quick learner,
7,
book enthusiast,
4,
leader,
8, 9, 8.5.
mhm, CEO.
8.5, I would say.
Okay. And as a friend.
6, 7.
Okay, great. So that's all of the rapid fire questions. Congrats for clearing through all of those.
No, these were great questions. They made me reflect a lot upon who I am.
Okay,
So,
I'm glad you like them. And so yeah, so coming to the last question of the interview, can you nominate 3 other business owners or CEOs or any person who is at a C level who would be interested in doing an interview with me?
okay, one would be Bakir Gandhi. That's my father.
Okay.
So he's been he's been running a company I think for over 25 years.
Wow.
He's in real estate and stuff. So I think he would be a good candidate for this. And another one is Paul Garcia. He's actually my ex-boss. I did an internship with him, and he has a great cause that he's working on. I think it would be fun to see him doing this challenge or like as an interview.
Yeah. Okay, that's 2 people, right?
Yeah, I don't have a third one
Okay.
actually. I thought about it. I don't have a third one.
Yeah, no problem, no problem. Still, 2 is a good number. So,
If I think of a third one, I'll let you know.
yeah, not a problem. No pressure at all. So it was, great interacting with you today. Thank you for, doing this interview with me, Mustafa.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, no problem. And I hope, 2021 brings you a lot of luck, a lot of progress. And I hope your business does well in this year. Are we, are you still there? Hello?
Thank you so much. I hope the same for you too.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah,
Okay, so, let's wrap it up on that note. And you too, thanks for connecting with me today. And have a great day.
yeah, you too. Good night.